Hi, my name is Kovach, and I'm here to give a message of self-empowerment and self-love. The first place I want to start with a story that started about 3.5 years ago. I had a failed business, and I needed some more employment. And law of attraction in life brought me to working at our local detention center, our jail. And from literally the first moment I walked into the facility, my heart sunk because they took us on a tour, and I got for the first time a realization, a real-life view of what that was all about. And just imagine, if you could, this entire room full of glass walls and hundreds of people standing behind them doing nothing. And my heart sank. And I had the luxury, the blessing, the miracle, to be able to teach these people. And very quickly I realized that I was no different than them. That we were all searching for answers, and so many of us were searching in the wrong places. And if you go kind of too far outside of yourself, there's some consequences that could be dire. Now, I'm also a school counselor by trade for the last 14 years or so. And I was looking forward to this school year beginning. I had just moved into a beautiful new house with my beautiful family and was very anxious to begin. I had the 8th graders to begin with this year, which means that I've had these students for the past 2.5 years. The very first day of school, 5th period comes, and there's one of my students, a female, at my door crying. And I was kind of like, wow, here we go. This is what my job is all about. So I let her in, and within 5 minutes or so, she was quiet. And then she asked me, Mr. Kovach, do you have anything sharp in your drawers? And I knew what that meant right away. She wanted to hurt herself. And so we had the talk, and we called her parents, and we got her the help she needed. But back in my head, I was thinking, wow, how could somebody come in, a student that should be so full of joy after the summer vacation, and be so out of it? So I realized that it's the same thing, whether it's the inmate in the jail, or an 8th grader in a middle school, me, my parents, the person walking down the street. We're all looking for something, and many of us are just looking in the wrong place. So that episode this year has gotten me to come out of my shell. 2 weeks ago, to further back up the need for this, I was in my office, and I was counseling another female, and she was having a tough time at home. And within 15 minutes, I received 2 calls from the dean's office, asking me for help with regards to a thievery. The teacher next to me called me over because they needed help removing a student that was having some anger issues. As soon as I took care of that, again, this poor student's still trying to wait for my attention, another teacher comes by with a message that we have a student who we need to call CPS for because possibly his father was beating him at home. And 2 minutes later, I hear a ding on my email that's telling me one of our kids wants to commit suicide. This is all in 15 minutes. So there's a dire need to find ourselves and find it in the right way. And it's a message that's as old as time. It's been told from the greats, from Buddha and Lao Tzu to Jesus, Allah, Muhammad, and it's finding that personal power within you. And it begins, to me, step 1 is taking full responsibility for your life. There's a great story that I heard in Wayne Dyer's book and on his DVD, The Power of Intention. And it goes something like this. He says, imagine, if you will, that you're in your house, and it's evening time, and you're getting to go outside. So you grab the keys off the counter, and all of a sudden, light failure. So it's pitch black, you're moving around, and you drop your keys. So you're looking around, and you're trying to find your keys, but of course you can't, it's dark. So you look up, and you see the window, and there's light outside the window. And you see that the street lamp's on. And you think to yourself, kind of oddly, I'm here in the dark, looking for my keys. Why don't I make it easy on myself, and I'll go outside where the light is, and I'll look for my keys out there. So I go outside, and I'm outside, I'm looking for my keys, and my neighbor sees me. He says, Joe, what are you doing? I said, well, I lost my keys. He says, well, I'll help you. So we're down there, we're both looking on the ground, and after a few minutes, he's looking, he's like, well, I don't see them. Where did you lose them? And I said, well, I lost them in the house on the way out when the lights went out. And he's like, well, you mean you're out here looking for your keys when you lost them in there? And so the object of the story is this idea that we have the problem inside, but so many of us go outside looking for the solution. So we need to find our personal power. We need to take responsibility, because any problem we have, it's not the other person, it's not the situation, it's not the government, the teacher, the parents, it's us. So that's number 1. Number 2 is awareness. And once you take personal responsibility, you need to become more aware of just what's going on with regards to you, your choices that you're making, and how do they end up. Number 3 has to do with idea of deeper beliefs. How do our beliefs create our lives? Because they do. Our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions, those 3 things which make up something called the attitude, is really what creates and leads how we're going to go through the day, go through the year, and what's going to be coming at us. Not only that, but how are we going to deal with what comes at us, because that's the most important aspect. The third step is understanding a little more about our guidance system. And that's something that's my favorite to teach and talk about, something called the law of attraction. I'm just a huge fan of Jerry and Esther Hicks, and understanding how our emotions aren't there to do anything but help us understand, are we on the path that we're supposed to be on or not? Okay, so am I feeling good or not? When I'm feeling good, good things are coming my way, and I can expect to see, be, do, or have those things that I'm looking for. When I'm not, it's letting me know I need to refocus. And finally, after we get all that straightened out, there's something that I call beingness. And that is, once you realize I've taken responsibility, I'm aware of how I'm thinking, I'm aware of how it ends up in my life, in control of myself, it's about really finding your purpose, and that's what I call beingness. Now, beingness, your purpose is not what you're doing, it's who you're being at any moment. And Neil Donald Walsh probably has been my biggest influence on helping me with that information through his Conversations with God series, especially Bringers of the Light. That's incredibly helpful. So, to sum it all up again, this is my message to the world. I've been using it, and I've just kind of been keeping it to within my small little world, and I want to bring this out to the Messenger Summit. So, I'm really looking forward to that opportunity, and I thank you. God bless. Namaste.